Welcome back to another video, everyone. Today we're deep diving headfirst into the Maple Pass Loop day hike out of Washington State. We day hiked and filmed this back in September of 2021, and it's been one of my most popular uploads here on the channel thus far. So I thought I'd make a trail guide of the hike for you and provide tips and information to aid in planning your trip to this beautiful place. If you enjoy this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss another video like this one. A good majority of the information provided in this video are from my own personal experiences on the trail, but to provide the best information and facts to you guys, I reference the Washington Trails Association write-up on this hike as well. I'll leave a link down in the description below so that you can check it out. So without further ado, let's get into your trail guide for the Maple Pass Loop. So to start off, where is the Maple Pass Loop exactly? The Maple Pass Loop is located in northern central Washington along the North Cascades Highway, also known as Highway 20. To access it, you must travel to the Rainy Pass Trailhead, which is an approximately 3-hour drive from Seattle, Washington, or a 4-hour drive from Spokane, Washington. The Maple Pass Loop is commonly mistaken to be in the North Cascades National Park. However, it's not. This is something that I recently found out, and even the title of my video of the hike is incorrect. Believe it or not, the hike actually borders the North Cascades National Park, and there are signs at the top that state this. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give if you want to complete this day hike is you need to get to the trailhead early. It's an extremely popular area, and this is an extremely popular hike, and for good reason. It's beautiful, and one of the most scenic places in all of the Pacific Northwest. It isn't uncommon for every parking spot at the trailhead to be full. There's about 40 spots, and a little bit more parking across the street. But another option to complete this hike is to do what we did, which was we actually showed up at the trailhead in the evening, the night before, just before dark, and we car camped. We woke up the next morning and hit the trail. It worked really well, and we were the first ones on the trail. Prior to departing for your hike, you must register at the trailhead and pay a $5 day use fee. Alternatively, however, you can have a Northwest Forest Pass hanging from your rearview mirror and be good to go. You can order a Northwest Forest Pass online from REI for $30 and have access to the Maple Pass Loop. I'll leave a link in the description for the Northwest Forest Pass so you can check it out. Here's some further information and stats for your trip here. The Maple Pass Loop is an approximately 7.2 mile round-trip loop hike with a total ascent of approximately 2,020 vertical feet. There's a few side trips here that you can actually add into your hike that will obviously increase your distance and total elevation gain. We'll dive into what those are coming up here in the trail guide. So it's finally time to hike. You have two options from the trailhead. Because it's a loop hike, you can either hike clockwise or counterclockwise. From my research, it seemed like the most popular option was to hike counterclockwise. This provides a more gradual but longer approach to the top of the pass. Once over Maple Pass, the rest of the hike will be more steep and downhill. It goes without saying that if you choose the clockwise route, your hike will initially be steep, but once you reach the top of the pass, the descent will be nice and gradual downhill hiking. Whatever route you choose though, you'll be in awe of the surrounding landscape. For the sake of this trail guide, we're going to continue as if we hike the trail counterclockwise. The hike begins in moderately dense forest, but it only takes a short amount of hiking for the views to open up and begin. This hike is incredible. At approximately 1.4 miles in, you'll reach the junction for Lake Ann. Lake Ann is a small and beautiful alpine lake tucked basically right in the middle of the Maple Pass Loop hike. Think of it this way, the hike essentially circumnavigates Lake Ann and you can see it from the majority of the hike. From the main Maple Pass Loop trail, it's about a half-mile side trip to the lake and then a half-mile back to the main trailhead, so it'll add about 1 mile to your entire trip. I highly recommend checking out Lake Ann. Since we started our hike early in the morning, we were able to enjoy a beautiful sunrise at the lake over coffee and breakfast. On the way back to the junction, we even had a nice grouse lead the way for a few minutes. So, you explored Lake Ann and now you're back at the junction and you're ready to continue to Maple Pass. If you went and visited Lake Ann, you're about 2.5 miles in for the entire trip at this point. If you didn't visit Lake Ann, you're about 1.4 miles in at this point. This is when it gets good. You'll begin to gradually gain more and more elevation now, and the views will just get better and better. You'll soon be looking down on Lake Ann and will be amazed to think that you were just down there. Once you've hiked approximately 0.8 miles past the Lake Ann Junction, you'll reach the area of Heather Pass. Okay, so we just came to the junction for Maple Pass and Heather Pass, and essentially we have our sign right here. Maple Pass continues straight. Heather Pass will take you to the right, which will eventually lead you to Lewis Lake and Wing Lake, and then eventually this trail will take you to Black Peak, which is a pretty popular climbing peak for this area that a lot of people like to do. But if we had more time, I'd love to do it. If you have multiple days to explore, these side trips should be high up on your list. If you're here for just a day, continue on the Maple Pass Loop for your fill of scenic views. At this point, you're going to continue hiking, and our next checkpoint is going to be the top of Maple Pass. All there is left to take in is the scenery that this beautiful area provides. You'll note on this trail that there are multiple signs and areas encouraging visitors to stay on the trail and not to disturb the vegetation. Be sure to try your best to adhere to these signs so we can preserve this amazing area for years to come. At this point, the footage here should speak for itself. Gradually climb the ridge until you reach the pass. From here, take in the 360-degree views that Maple Pass provides to the north and to the south of the North Cascades National Park, and pat yourself on the back for finally reaching here. It's truly amazing that we have scenery like this right here in the backyard of the Pacific Northwest. Okay, so we're 5.3 miles in, and we just made it to the top of Maple Pass, and it's beautiful. You've literally got views in every direction. You can kind of see the switchbacks down here, and it looks like we're about to start descending. At this point, you'll begin your descent back to the trailhead. You have approximately 3.1 miles back to the trailhead with an elevation loss of 1,700 feet, and you can soon check this hike off your bucket list. From the top of the pass, you'll gradually descend some switchbacks, and before you know it, Lake Ann will soon fade out of sight. You'll enter some old-growth forest and will eventually make it down to a paved sidewalk that will either A, lead you back to the trailhead by taking a left, or B, lead you down to Rainy Lake by taking a right, which is about a half-mile walk from this point. We never actually made it down to Rainy Lake, but it's an ADA-approved trail and would make for some fabulous scenery for those with various hiking abilities. Within no time, you'll be back at the trailhead, and you've now completed the Maple Pass Loop. If I could offer one piece of advice for this trip, it's to take pictures and create a memory for yourself to look back on. Apart from that, however, make sure to take some time away from the phone, the camera, the social media, and just take the scenery in for a few minutes without distractions. You may never be back here, and creating that internal memory is well worth taking the time to do so. And that's the end of the video, you guys. If you enjoyed the trail guide for the Maple Pass Loop, be sure to leave a thumbs up on it, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.